What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and we are back for another episode of our fighting game tutorial series. So in this episode we are going to be going over cleaning up our animation blueprint part 4. We're going to be continuing along with this today. So we've done a lot of improvements for a lot of different concepts and systems and logic within our game because we're moving toward our rollback netcode, our online play, our AI behavior. And since these are very, very difficult concepts to master, we want to make sure that our code as clean as it could possibly be, and we've been really working hard to make sure that it is. And I'm very happy with the performance gains, the visual cleanup, and everything else we've done so far in all of these different series. The animation blueprint has been our weakest link. It has a lot of logic in there, and that logic really is great to have for our game, but we had so much that we needed to clean up with it, and we're really going through it. It is already significantly better, so I'm very happy with it, and we're going to continue going along with that process today. But if you want to get caught up in this series and check out how we've done everything from our hitboxes, our different modes, our input buffer, and a whole lot more, I'll link you to the top right corner right here where you can check out the entire fighting game tutorial series. Alternatively, if you don't care about that, you only care about the animation blueprint cleanup, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to watch the rest of the series to follow along with this, but I do recommend that you watch the previous episodes of the animation blueprint cleanup. That way you're familiar with what we had currently and the different things that we have improved already, so that you know kind of why what we're doing in these new episodes is better than the previous episodes. And with that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. So this is a code and blueprint tutorial series. Since we are cleaning up our animation blueprint, it's all going to be work done in the blueprint today. We're almost at the point in our animation blueprint where we want to start converting logic from the blueprint to the code. But I want to stay in the blueprint and clean it up a little bit more before we do that. We're getting very close. So I'm going to go to my characters animation blueprint. You can do this for all of your animation blueprints, but I'm sticking with my mutant since that is the one that has all of the changes for the series. The thing I want to focus on the most in today's episode is how we end our attacks and the transition logic from going to the end of an attack, a throw, or some other state back to idle. So we have some functions and events in here for ending throws, attacks, and crouching attacks. And these are used all over the place in our state machine. This is for every transition back from one of these states, like an attack or a throw, back to our idle or crouch idle. And there's some duplicated logic in here, so we can clean this up, improve it, make it easier to edit, and then we can do the same for the start attacks and start throws as well, because it's going to be very similar. And then once we have this consolidated, it will be very easy to convert to code, because we'll really only have one function that we need to call, and it will handle everything. So first things first here, if we look at our logic for ending a throw or ending an attack, you'll see that we are getting our current frame count to set the end attack frame. This is for our frame data, and then we were using our character reference, which is the owner of the animation blueprint, and calling gather frame data on it, which is going to figure out frame data based on our start attack frame, our end attack frame, and a few other factors. We won't go into this too much today because we're not going to be editing this function. But you can see it in the frame data episodes if you care. And then we set can move to be true because at this point we're ending the state we were in. And we're setting the attack state back to none, the character state back to none. Then we were calling reset variables and clear hitboxes. So reset variables resets our animation blueprint use variables, typically the buttons for our attacks, medium, heavy, super, X attack, landed throw, can flip. So pretty simple stuff there too. And then we clear our hitboxes just to be sure that when we return to idle, we don't have any lingering hitboxes. So if we just make a function to do all of this logic right here and be able to pass in the state that we want to return to when we're done with an action, we can not only consolidate this logic, but we can actually make something work that doesn't technically work in the series right now. So on our commands, we have the ability to set the state we want to return to once the action is done. And it did work at one point because we could assign it and go there, but it was being overridden by other states and other factors based on our animation blueprint. And a lot of that is because the logic is too complex, right? That's why we're simplifying it. So if we put all this in one spot like we're going to do in today's episode, and we go to our mutant command data, you'll see that at the end of each command we have this resulting state, which determines where we want the character to be after that animation finished, like I just mentioned. And so if we use that resulting state of the last command that the character used, then we can actually put them in the proper state, which was the intended behavior of the game. So let's go ahead and make a function or another event, and I'll make a function just called end attack. I think that fits because we are ending the attack, and I consider a throw an attack as well, and a crouching attack is definitely an attack, so just end attack, simple enough. Then we can copy this entire set of logic. I'll take the one from end throw and end attack and paste it in here. So here we go, we've hooked it up. Now really this is going to work the same way as it does for those two events. But remember what I was just talking about. We want to make sure we reset the character state back to the resulting state, not this hard-coded value. I can still have the set character state value here, but this blue node that we have all these reroute nodes for is the character reference. The character reference has something called last command used. Commands in our game are anything that's in this mutant command data. It's essentially all of our attacks, our throws, dashes, running, special attacks, all that stuff. And our regular attacks are in that, because technically a light attack is in the input buffer, is in the command list of just pressing an input to execute this command. So the last used command is set whenever we execute one, and if we are returning from an attack or a throw or a crouching attack, that was a command that we executed. This means our last command used, if we either split the struct pin and grab what we need, or break the command and just grab the resulting state right here, we can hide unconnected pins and enable resulting state. And now we can just assign this value to the character state here. And now, when we call end attack, the state will be set to the resulting state of the command. Another thing this really allows us to do is to end a crouching attack and result in standing up, or vice versa, which in our state machine, all of our crouching logic over here, if we go to one of our attacks like crouch light, you can see it's using end crouch attack transition. So if we wanted to crouch light to return us to idle, it wouldn't be very easy to do. But with our new system, we can switch this over to one transition event, and then when we're done here, the crouch to idle just checks the crouching state. If we're not in either of these crouching states, which it won't be, and then we will return to idle. So it's also easier for things like that. Now the logic after it we can leave separate. We're still going to consolidate this more, but for now we're not worried about it. Move these three transition event and notifies together, and we can remove all of the logic here. And instead, all three of these can call our function, which is just end attack. So this is what happens when an attack ends. Very simple, and then we could plug it back into the other reroute node here, just so that we're all even, but we really don't need this much space anymore. So something like this is now good enough. And technically this will work right off the bat. If you actually go in and play your game and use our attacks, our resulting state for most of my commands in my series, because I haven't really filled them out, is going to be just standard idle. So if I come in here and I use an attack, I return to idle properly when the animation is finished. Great. Now if I'm crouching and I use my light attack, I'm still holding the crouch button, so I return to crouch. If I really want to make sure that this works without holding the crouch button, one thing that I want to do is go to my mutant command data and go to my crouching light, for example, and make sure the resulting state is crouching. We actually did this correctly in the series, so that's perfectly fine. But if I were to change this to no action or idle, and come back into my game, if I'm crouching and I use my attack, you'll see that I stand up afterward. This is intended because it followed my resulting state. However, my crouching medium, which is also set to crouching as the resulting state, keeps me in the crouching state. So that is wonderful. That is working exactly how we want it to. I'm going to move this back to crouching afterward. Just like that, we've cleaned this up, and we can take it one step further by removing these additional events. We really only need one end attack transition at this point, since they're all doing the same thing now. So we can go to default here, which is our default state machine. We want to find any that have crouching attack transition, whatever we're calling that in our series. So for example, crouching light to crouch uses our end crouch attack transition. We can simply change this to just end attack transition. And we can use this for anything that was using the end crouching attack transition. Now I may not have set all of mine in the series to use this, so if I didn't, it's fine. We're rectifying it now, but if you did use it for any reason at all in your state machine, you should be able to get rid of it now. However, make sure you do catch all of them. It should be all of mine, and we can do the same for the end throw transition as well. So end throw transition should only occur when we perform a throw, not when we are thrown. So if I look down here, I have my start backward throw. If it connects, it goes here, start backward throw, recovery to idle. This has end throw transition, and if we use start backward throw, this also has end throw transition. So this is our grab, and if we miss it, then we return this way, and if we land it, we return this way as well. We can also go to the grappled and thrown, but we don't use it in that case. And when we're actually grappled and thrown, we also don't use it in that case. So for these two cases, the start backward thrown to idle right here, switch this to end attack transition. And for backward throw recovery to idle, switch that to end attack transition. Then we can compile and save and go back to the event graph and get rid of end throw transition. And that means we just have end attack transition calling one function, then doing a few other things that I haven't converted yet, because you'll notice that we have an end jump transition and a start attack and start throw transition. And we still want to consolidate these things before getting rid of this, because these also use it. But notice how much logic we just condensed in that short amount of time. This makes it incredibly simple to end attacks of any type and make it work as expected. Also, because of this change, we can actually clean up a few other things. So if we go to our BT grab ended, you'll see that we were clearing hitboxes. Now BT grab ended isn't anim notify the end of the backward throw animation. But with the way we've set up our logic now, regardless if it's an attack, a crouching attack, or a throw, we will be able to clear those hitboxes at the end of our end attack behavior. And so we don't need a separate anim notify for this. If you want to keep an anim notify to do any other logic at the end of it, that's perfectly fine, but this logic here is redundant. So we can safely remove this BT throw ended anim notify, or at least remove the logic for it in the event, as well as the clear hitboxes node here. And then there is also an event that we're not using here. It is event check hurricane kick collision. This is our hurricane kick that spawns multiple hitboxes, and we were checking at arbitrary values of time when we wanted to check for collision with the hitbox, but now we've updated our logic and changed the way that our collisions occur with hitboxes. This means you no longer need this. We can handle everything that we were doing in there in a different way with our new logic, so I'm going to remove this as well. So make sure you test it one more time once you've made all your changes so that you did not miss any of the possible options for throws, crouching attacks, or any other ones that you may have had. So just go through and use your attacks and make sure everything is working as you would expect it to. And if it is, then you're good to go. You've significantly cleaned up lots of your animation blueprint, which will be very helpful to us going forward. If you enjoyed this episode and you're happy to keep cleaning up your animation blueprint and you're excited to see what's to come, then please subscribe and consider joining the Patreon, YouTube membership, and Discord subscriptions for more benefits. I appreciate all who have, and I'm very grateful for you. If you ran into any problems following this tutorial or any of my tutorial series, feel free to join the Discord community. I would be happy to help you out, and the support is completely free. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.